Hello, my friend. Welcome to Easy English Podcast. I'm Adam. I'm really happy that you're here today. If you want to improve your English in a simple and slow way, then this podcast is perfect for you. Don't forget to subscribe and give this episode a like if you find it helpful. Now, I want to share a story. It's my story. It's a story about failure, a story about fear, and a story about never giving up. There was a time in my life when I couldn't speak English at all. Not one sentence. Not even "my name is Adam" with confidence. Every time I tried, I felt lost. I felt small. I felt afraid. And I told myself, maybe English is not for me. Maybe I'm not good at languages. Maybe I will never speak. But something inside me said, keep going. Don't stop. Just try one more time. And so I did. When I was a teenager, we had English classes at school, but we never really learned how to speak. We read texts. We memorized grammar. We did written exercises. But no one ever taught us how to speak naturally. Speaking was scary. There was no practice, just theory. So even after many years in school, I still couldn't have a conversation. I remember one day in class, the teacher asked me to introduce myself. I stood up. My heart was beating fast. My hands were shaking. I tried to say something, anything, but nothing came out. I froze. The whole class was watching me. I looked down. My face turned red. And after a few seconds of silence, I just sat back down. It was one of the most embarrassing moments in my life. I felt ashamed. I felt like a failure. After that day, I avoided English. I didn't want to speak. I didn't want to try. I was afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being laughed at, afraid of failing again. So I stopped. I stopped learning. I stopped practicing. I gave up, at least for a while. But deep inside, I still wanted to speak English. I wanted to travel. I wanted to meet people from other countries. I wanted to watch movies without subtitles. I wanted to understand songs. I wanted freedom. And I knew that English could give me that. But I didn't know how to start again. One day I was watching a video online. It was a simple video. A man was telling his story. He said, I couldn't speak English, but I learned, slowly, day by day, word by word. His story felt like mine. He was not perfect. He had a simple voice, but he spoke clearly, and I could understand him. That video gave me hope. It made me think, maybe I can try again. So I made a decision. I will start from zero. I will forget everything I know, and I will learn like a child, slowly, naturally, one word at a time. And this time, I will focus on listening first, not grammar, not writing, just listening. Every day I listen to English, short podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube videos. I didn't understand everything, but I kept listening, over and over again. At first it was very hard. I couldn't catch the words. Everything sounded too fast, like a river of sounds. But I didn't stop. I listened while walking. I listened while cooking. I listened before sleeping. And slowly my ears started to hear more. I started to recognize simple words. Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. It was exciting, like discovering a new world. After a few weeks, I began to repeat the words I heard. Not writing, not reading, just speaking. I played a sentence. Then I repeated it. I tried to copy the sound, the rhythm, the feeling. It felt strange at first. I sounded weird. But I didn't care. I was practicing. I was speaking. Even if it was just to myself. Then I discovered something called shadowing. It means listening to someone and repeating what they say at the same time. It's not easy. You have to be focused. You have to be quick. But it's powerful. I used short dialogues, simple conversations. I paused. repeated, played again, repeated again, and something changed. My mouth started to move more easily. My voice became more natural. My fear started to fade. One day I was at a coffee shop. A tourist came in. He looked confused. He asked, "Excuse me, where's the train station?" For a moment I panicked, but then I remembered my practice. I smiled and said, "It's over there, next to the supermarket." The tourist smiled back and said, "Thank you." That was it. Just one short exchange. But for me, it was a victory. I had spoken English in real life with a real person, and I didn't freeze. I didn't panic. I spoke, and I felt proud. After that day, I started to believe in myself. I realized something important. You don't need to be perfect to speak. You don't need big words. You just need to be brave, to try, to speak, even if you make mistakes. Mistakes are not bad. They are part of learning. Every day I kept practicing. I used simple materials. I repeated the same sentences again and again. I recorded myself. I listened to my voice. It was not perfect, but it was improving, slowly, naturally. I also started to speak with language partners online. I used apps, websites, forums. At first I was shy. I made many mistakes. I said things wrong, but people were kind. They helped me. They corrected me. And I didn't feel afraid anymore because I knew I was learning. And slowly something inside me began to shift. I no longer looked at English as a problem. I started seeing it as a friend, a quiet friend that stayed with me every day. I didn't need to force it. I just needed to listen, speak, and stay present. I began thinking in English without noticing. Not all the time, but more and more. My thoughts were no longer translated. They came naturally. One evening, I watched an English movie without subtitles. It wasn't easy, but I understood the main story. I smiled and said, "I understand. Not everything, but enough." That night, I felt something new, a small confidence, quiet but real. It wasn't loud, it wasn't fast, but it was mine. From that moment, I kept moving forward. I didn't rush. I didn't pressure myself. I let the language come to me day by day. Some days were hard. I felt tired. I felt like I was not making progress. But I reminded myself, every word you hear matters. Every sentence you repeat counts. It wasn't magic. It was consistency. It was showing up. Even on days when I didn't feel motivated, even when I doubted myself, I still listened. I still spoke. I still believed. And that belief, it changed everything. Speaking freely, and that is fluency